This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on September 29th, 2017. Our time is 8:35 Mountain. Radio show runs Sunday afternoon at 3 on 630 CHED. If you ever miss a radio show, they're archived on Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, streaming for you there. We have a podcast through iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Harold's auction site is active right now. There's an auction underway online, ongoing. Take a look at it. We'll talk more about it. hsfineauctions.com. Our featured diamond of the week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com is a .33 carat radiant cut fancy green. We'll talk about diamonds in the second half of the show. The biggest gem found in a century, sold during the week. We'll talk about that a little bit later. It was the end of the third quarter for 2017. And you just take a look at everything that's going on in the world, just utter devastation when you look at what's happening in Puerto Rico and even in Venezuela. People are starving to death in Venezuela. Very, very tragic. And now, thankfully, at least some of the supplies that are needed are moving into Puerto Rico. But the 2017 hurricanes could cost $200 billion. Hurricane Harvey, Irma, and Maria have left devastation in their wakes, racking up potentially $200 billion in damages, according to Moody's Analytics. And also during the week, there was more saber-rattling between the United States and North Korea. Donald Trump said the United States is ready to use devastating force on North Korea. North Korea said they would shoot down U.S. bombers, although North Korea may struggle to do that. You can see that information in our free weekly newsletter. Get our free weekly newsletter from Harold. Connect with him at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. But Harold, the situation that we're seeing in Puerto Rico getting a little bit better with supplies now starting to move in. But what a devastating situation for all those affected by the hurricanes. And there's just a tragedy going on in Venezuela with the lack of food. Bloomberg, and we have this in our newsletter this week, there are people that have literally lost 50 to 60 pounds. And we're talking about people that weighed 175 pounds down to like 115 or 120. They're literally starving to death. A lot of people are now crossing the border and going into Colombia. It's a tragedy a lot of people are not aware of, but some serious situations in the world, including geopolitical trouble between the United States and North Korea.
You bet, Randy. It's very, very trying and very, very sad to see this going on. And myself being in Florida, I got back last night, that there's still a lot of destruction in Florida. What's happening in Puerto Rico, actually, according to the news that we saw when we were in Florida last night, is that all these tankers are sitting there, but nobody can get to them. So all this food and everything that's there is spoiling, all the medicine for the kids and everything. So Puerto Rico is in terrible shape. We knew, from our reports and all that, they're financially bankrupt and heavily in debt. Now you've got a hurricane that hit them twice that has just basically wiped them out. There's no electricity. There won't be electricity restored to that island, some people are saying, for 6 months to a year. So how do you work? How do you live? How do you eat? The food's not getting to them. It's a terrible, terrible thing. The situation in Houston, I think, is horrific, because not only are they still underwater, but at last count, there was about 40,000 homes that were totally destroyed. Now, the thing is that most people don't realize is that these homes not only were destroyed, but they don't have the right insurance, because most people don't buy flood insurance. You could buy fire insurance and every other type of insurance, but most people don't think that their home is going to flood. So of the 40,000 homes that were destroyed, most of them didn't have flood insurance. that means those homes are not insured. And seeing that 99% of people that own homes don't really own them, the bank owns them, now they still owe for the mortgage, even though they can't live in their home anymore, so they still owe that money. And the same situation with the automobiles and trucks. There's about 1 million of them that are totally destroyed, that were underwater, and people still owe on those, and they're not insured for floods. So you've got a devastating situation there. You've got all the people in Puerto Rico are basically wiped out. Venezuela, as you mentioned. Mexico has had back-to-back earthquakes, killing countless people and just destroying, and it's unbelievable. And what's happening in Florida, again, the Keys are wiped out. Over 40% of the homes there have been wiped out. On top of that, Miami got hit badly. Fortunately, when I got home last night, we still had a 40-foot-high tree that fell into the lake behind the house, and that's still there. Most of the areas that you're driving has got trees and rubbish and all that piled 30, 40 feet high in the air. It looks like an absolute war zone. It gives you a feeling of total chaos and unpredictability, and it just eats at the pit of your stomach, because again, you're realizing how much your life has been affected. My two offices, I'm in my office in Sunrise now, but driving up here again, half the parking lot was empty. Then on top of that, you've got, again, a lot of debris and everything around. So it's just a very, very trying time. My heart goes out to all the people that got wiped out in these natural disaster type of things, because the insurance companies don't care. They're not going to give you money just if you didn't buy the right type of insurance. So, I'm thinking there was over $150 billion worth of damage in Houston alone. Florida's a disaster area. Then take into consideration all of the islands, Puerto Rico and Bermuda and the British Virgin Islands and all that type of thing. Just a horrible situation. You would think the one good thing that would come out of this, if there is a good thing, is that the economy could benefit, because we're going to have to build all these new homes and everyone's going to have to buy new cars and all that type of thing. But where's the money going to come from? The insurance companies could be wiped out. And again, if you have the wrong insurance, you're just not getting your money back type of thing. So very, very trying time, Randy. And then add to it, we've got a president here in the United States that is just doing a horrendous job. He's doing a horrible job. I'm absolutely horrified to think that this is going on in one of the great countries in this world, that we've got a president that is doing such a horrific job. We're going to go to war with somebody because he's a hothead. He cannot control his temper. He says things without thinking first. He's antagonizing nations that you don't want to get into a fight with. You don't want to get into a fight with North Korea. They don't think logically. They've got over 1 million-person army, and they could do some serious, serious damage. So, again, this is the way the world seems to be going at this point. A lot of people are in dire straits. Looking at Canada, my homeland and Randy's homeland, and, things are not great there. Oil went up a little bit over the last few weeks because of the hurricanes and all that, but basically the economy in Canada is not great, especially, unfortunately, in beautiful Alberta, because of oil prices being down and the real estate market's tough, and just the overall commodity markets are not moving at this point. So, Randy, it's a very, very trying time. To invest in a market like we have right now is extremely difficult. A lot of people are shying away from the stock market. It's trading at 22,000 the Dow in the U.S., but that's based off of what 6 stocks are doing. So most people that invest don't understand the risk of what's happening in the marketplace at this point, and the risk is severe, because if most people have their money in the stock market at this point, the feeling is that because the stock market's going up and the general public always buys in at the wrong time. You don't buy in when the market is sitting at record levels. You wait for some type of correction. But people can't wait to get their money into the market. They can't wait to gamble and speculate with the hope of making a lot of money. But the fact is that 90% of the people that trade in the stock markets and commodity markets lose their money. So how is that a viable investment at this point? Buying the real estate market and the stock market at all-time highs makes absolutely no sense. The other thing that's happening at this point here is that we're starting to get a rally again in the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is trading above 93 cents right now. We actually hit as high as 93.5 cents this week. My feeling on the U.S. dollar is it's still going to be the strongest currency. In spite of the fact that we have a president that, again, is a major concern, the fact is that the U.S. is still the strongest game in town financially. The Dow is sitting at over 22,000, and money is coming in from all over the world because every other country is suffering at this particular point. So, again, my prediction is that the U.S. dollar is going to continue to strengthen. The Canadian dollar, again, is going to continue to fall. It was at 121. We're now at 125 in the past couple of weeks. So, again, keep a strong eye on that. But my strongest recommendation is to still have your money in U.S. dollar-based investments at this time, because even though there are issues in the U.S., it's still a stronger financial situation than every place else in the world. I mean, what's going on in Venezuela is unbelievable because they have well over 1,000% hyperinflation. That means you walk into McDonald's, nobody can even afford to eat there. Not that you would want to, but the fact is that you're going to pay the equivalent, of $40 or $50, for a Big Mac type of thing. You're going to pay $200 or more for a loaf of bread. So this is why nobody can eat. Nobody has any money. I've mentioned many times that my partners have moved their family out of Venezuela to Trinidad and left tens of millions of Venezuelan dollars there because, number one, you can't get money out of the country, but number two, it's almost worthless. Can you imagine sitting there with 10 million Venezuelan dollars sitting, in your bank account and realize that there's almost nothing that you can do with it? So these are extremely difficult times. It's not a time to speculate. It's not a time to gamble. It's a time to sit back and say, okay, we're in difficult times and we need to see ourselves through this. And the best way to do that is not to lose your money, is not to gamble or speculate in a marketplace. I've been waiting for opportunities to recommend to my clients, but at this particular point, the only recommendation that I'm making is taking advantage of the U.S. dollar when it dropped, down to the level that it did, which was about 91 cents. Back now up to 93, and I'm very strong on the fact that we're going to get a nice rally in that market, and the only reason is because the U.S. tends to be doing better at this point than other countries, and their stock market is making a ton of money, at least people envision. If you're not sitting in Google and Amazon and those type of stock, you're not making any money. It's not that the U.S. is in great shape. In actual fact, the retail market in the United States is abysmal. I don't understand how in the world that Amazon is going to be the only retailer. I personally find it impossible to buy clothes online, when you haven't tried them on or whatever. So how is it that all of these Macy's and all of these major chains, there's so many stores that have closed down in the last couple of years and so many more coming? It's horrible for the commercial real estate market. It's terrible for the retail market. These corporations that are closing hundreds and hundreds of stores is terrible for the employment market. I just don't see how this is a benefit. And again, with the hurricanes and all that type of thing and all the natural disasters, you would think that, okay, at least the economy is going to get stronger because they're going to have to rebuild, but nobody's got any money to rebuild, and the insurance companies just aren't going to come through. So, again, at this particular point, my strongest recommendation, get into the U.S. dollar, convert some Canadian dollars into U.S. That's the simplest way to do it. But at this particular point, don't speculate. Don't go into markets that are sitting at lifetime highs. And again, the real estate market in Canada is very suspect. You cannot invest and gamble with your home. It's a no-no. Because most people don't know what they're doing when they're in a market that they're sitting back and watching other people making money. You're at a party or sitting at dinner and somebody's saying, I just made $100,000 in this house and $200,000. Most people don't do that. Most people that are trading in real estate lose most of their money. So again, these are not things that you should be speculating in. You should not be gambling, with your home. You should be sitting back, again, in a market like this and waiting for an opportunity to come around. And the best opportunity right now is in the U.S. dollar. So, Randy, that's the way I see things. Gold is down to below 1,300 again. It tried to break above it this week, but then fell back above it, below it type of thing. So gold's trading, right now at 1284. And if the U.S. dollar continues to strengthen, which I predict that it will very strong, it could push gold down, to around the 1225 level. Again, there's still a premium in gold, and I call it the Trump premium because, again, something is going to happen. He's going to go to war with somebody, and it is going to affect the markets in some way, shape, or form. But at this particular point, gold's trading back at 1284, and if the U.S. dollar continues to strengthen because of the correlation between gold and the dollar, I see the dollar going back to par, and I see, again, gold still holding strong as long as there's the potential of some type of problem with North Korea, Iran, or any other country that Trump is going to start a fight with.
How do you invest today so you can retire tomorrow? That's why we do the radio show. Call Harold. He speaks with many listeners every day, every week, every month, every year. He'll be happy to talk to you, whether you've listened for the very first time or been listening for a long time. Connect with Harold. He has private investment programs in place where you can be making money immediately. 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. The website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week, and we'll talk about diamonds in the second half of the show. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond, 0.33 carat. Radiant cut, fancy green. And Harold is right. To back up what he was talking about, we are in a time where it is very difficult to make money in the financial markets. The supposed best of the best, the hedge fund managers, are getting killed. And they are getting out of the business some very big names. In fact, just announced, Whitney Tilson is shutting his hedge fund after sustained poor returns. Tilson is closing his hedge fund, Case Capital Management, and returning money to investors after struggling with losses. Reporting sustained underperformance to you is making me miserable, Tilson said in an email Thursday, citing excerpts from a recent letter to investors. I couldn't, in good conscience, continue to manage your money unless I had a high degree of confidence that I could turn things around within a reasonable time frame. And Case Capital has lost about 8% this year, while the stock market, the indices have been up. But as Harold was saying, it's the FANG stocks. You've got Facebook and Amazon and Apple and Netflix and Google. It's those stocks that are driving the market. With assets shrinking to about $50 million from a peak of $180 million in 2010, Tilson is shutting things down. And he's not the only firm. Hugh Hendry out of the UK is shutting down one of his funds. So we are in a time where some of the best are just beyond frustrated as to what's happening in the markets due to government manipulation and a lot more, and they are shutting things down. We also have stocks at record high prices. Robert Schiller. Stocks look like they did right before the 13 most recent bear markets. Stocks look dangerously close to a bear market, but that doesn't mean it's time to sell everything, according to the Nobel-winning author Robert Schiller. In a post on Project Syndicate, Schiller said, the cyclically adjusted price-to-earnings ratio he helped develop was useful in predicting returns over the next decade. The gauge values stocks based on the past 10 years of earnings to smooth out periods when growth or weakness was abnormal. In the peak months before bear markets, widely defined as declines of 20% or more, the cap ratio was above its average of 22.1. On Friday, it was slightly over 30. So you can see we are in times right now where the stock markets of the world are very, very overpriced. And Harold, one of the stories that we have been following, and when we talk about the financial markets, it's to protect our listeners. profit and protect the money that they have. We're not trying to scare anybody. This is a show about realism. People say you're pessimistic. It's not about optimism or pessimism. It's about realism. We work so hard for our money. We don't want you to lose it. That's a way not to retire. You need to, obviously, as the old rule goes, make money with the money that you have. Rule 2, don't lose any money, which is basically rule 1. Now, one of the stories that has been huge for us, and we have tipped you off on it for quite some time, Canada, we have 2 markets where housing is at a bubble, Toronto and Vancouver. This week, UBS published its labeled Global Real Estate Bubble Index, listing the major cities most in risk of housing bubbles. Canada took 2 of the 4 top spots. Toronto, top spot, Vancouver, number 4, and Northern Europe's Munich and Stockholm sandwiched in between. U.S. cities pretty high, with San Francisco and Los Angeles in overvalued, but not in bubble territory. But they went on to say, the problem occurs in Canada if we have a shock that hits the global economy that makes it harder to pay off debt, Canadians paying off their mortgages, or if central banks raise interest rates more aggressively, pushing borrowing costs higher. UBS noted that Toronto and Vancouver weren't dragged down by the global financial crisis as a weaker Canadian dollar cushioned the blow. Overly loose monetary policy for too long, in addition to buoyant foreign demand, unmoored their housing markets from economic fundamentals, and both markets are now in bubble territory. A strengthened Canadian dollar and further interest rate hikes would be an end to the party, according to the report. If you would like to get this report from the Wall Street Journal, we can send it to you. It's called Blame Canada, Toronto and Vancouver, Top Housing Bubble Risks, according to UBS. And Harold, with about a minute left here, now's the time to beware.
You better believe it, Randy. Again, it just seems like everything right now is just in a stagnant situation type of thing. And again, with so much destruction going on around the world at this point and so much uncertainty, it's just a smart thing to just sit back and wait for an opportunity. Don't jump out there and look and say, I'm going to jump into a market that everyone's making money, because the general public always buys at the wrong time. History will show that. You don't buy the Dow when it's at 22,000, and you don't buy real estate when it's at the level that it's at. You've got to wait for these markets to come down and then reanalyze and see if this is the right time and if the fundamentals are there for the market to actually make that move. So again, it's a very confusing time. I wish I had better news in the markets type of thing right now, but right now is a time to just sit back, and we will find our opportunities. You just have to wait for them to happen.
Speak with Harold about the private programs that he has in place where you can be making money today. RareColorDiamonds.com, RareColorDiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Going to come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on September 29th, 2017, a Friday. Our time is 9 Mountain. Our radio show runs 6:30 CHED, Sunday afternoon at 3 in Edmonton. And if you are maybe missing a show from time to time, would like to catch up, all you need to do is go to Harold's website, RareColorDiamonds.com. The shows are archived there, streaming 24/7 for you. And we have a podcast for those that love podcasts. Podcast going for quite a few years, and we're portable. We go anywhere you do. All you need to do is go to Harold's website. You can be a part of the podcast via his website, or go to iTunes and type in The World Financial Report on radio. HSFineAuctions.com is Harold's other website, and there's an auction underway right now. Go to the website, HSFineAuctions.com. We'll talk about it a little later in the show. Our featured diamond of the week from rarecolorediamonds.com is a .33 carat radiant cut fancy green. This is just a beautiful, beautiful diamond. And if you love green diamonds, and Harold is very big on green diamonds right now, he believes those are going to be the winners of the future. Go to rarecolorediamonds.com, featured diamond of the week, and you can see video of this diamond. And Harold, what a spectacular diamond we have. It's a museum piece from the vaults of rarecolorediamonds.com.
Better believe it. Again, the green diamonds are just absolutely stunning and very, very difficult to get. It takes uranium to turn a diamond green. Now, a lot of diamonds, or green diamonds specifically, come from South America, and Venezuela is one particular area where they do come from. Unfortunately, and even though my partners are from Venezuela and own their own mines there, we don't buy diamonds through Venezuela because of the Kimberley contract type of thing. So you can't buy anything through Venezuela. They're just not doing sound or good business at this point here. And so green diamonds are extremely rare. And last year, we saw evidence that they're starting to move in the same direction as blue diamonds, which have probably been the best investment over the last 10 years of any investment out there. I mean, back in 2005, I remember going over auction results with Randy, and we were looking at, important blue vivid diamonds were selling in the $200,000 per carat range. Now those same diamonds are up to $4 to $5 million a carat. So very seldom does a blue diamond come on board. The fact is that because they've been so successful at auction recently, you've seen the people that do own important blue diamonds bring them onto the marketplace because the prices have been record prices. So it seems like there's a lot of blue diamonds, but these are blue diamonds that have been held in family trusts for generation after generation. So the fact is that there's not very many blue diamonds. In fact, there was a handful that have been sold over the last 10 years, but the fact is that to get a blue diamond, you need boron in the ground in order for the diamond to turn blue. And again, we have seen very, very few new blue diamonds come onto the market. We believe that important pink diamonds are going to skyrocket in price, and we've talked about this for years because the Argyle mine that produces them is going to close down. But the fact is that pink diamonds, especially larger pink diamonds, have done tremendously well at auction and will continue to do so. So just very, very excited about what's happening in the diamond market. Many of my clients own pink diamonds because we bought pink diamonds from the Argyle mine because the Argyle mine is going to close. It's going to close in about 2.5 years, and that's it. There should not be any more pink diamonds. Now, a couple of years after the mine closes, you're going to start to notice that people are going to start to bring some pink diamonds onto the market for auction. And we believe because there's very few pink diamonds, and 95% of them come from the Argyle mine, that the prices on these pink diamonds are going to increase substantially. So we believe that the investment that we have made in pink diamonds is going to pay off very nicely for our clients over the next 5 years. So again, Randy, I just think that at this point, with everything happening in the world and as much risk as there is, owning a diamond for the long term is one of the best investments that you could make.
Featured diamond, .33 carat, radiant cut, fancy green. And as we've mentioned before, May 31, 2016, the Aurora Green sold for a record-breaking price of $16.8 million. It's 5.03 carats, and it set 2 world records. The price and per carat. Per carat, it went for $3.3 million. It was sold to Hong Kong-based Chow Tai Fook Jewelry, and that was a massive winner in May 31 of 2016 at auction. And we keep you up to date with auction results. If you would like to receive auction results for the first 6 months of this year, we'll be happy to send them to you. And as we've said before, a great quote from Chris Delgado, jewelry expert. Jewelry is an investment you can wear for 30 years and sell What else can you do that with? Now, one of the big stories of the week, the biggest gem found in a century, sold for $53 million. They say size isn't everything in the diamond market, especially for the biggest gem found in more than a century that took more than a year to sell. Lucara Diamond Corporation here in Canada, out of Vancouver, finally sold the 1,109 carat Liciti Lorona diamond for $53 million or $47,777 a carat on Monday to Graf Diamonds. And Graf, one of the big jewelry houses of the world, with Lawrence Graf leading the way. Now, Vancouver-based Lucara said in a statement, well, it's significantly bigger than the 813-carat Constellation stone Lucara found at the same time. That stone sold for a record $63 million, or about $77,500 a carat. The fate of the Liciti, or the R-Light in the Tswana language spoken in Botswana, is a good example of how size isn't the most important factor in the diamond industry. The gem is more difficult to cut, and the color isn't as good as the Constellation, meaning it probably won't yield as good a polished stone. BMO Capital Markets had forecasted the diamond, which went unsold at Sotheby's in London last year, could sell for $75 million. If you take the potential outcomes from the stone into consideration, the risk that the buyer actually is taking, you can see why it wasn't the easiest one to sell. Lucara Chief Executive Officer William Lamb said in a phone interview. Liciti, just smaller than a tennis ball, is second only in size to the Cullinan, a 3,106-carat gem found in South Africa in 1905. The Cullinan was cut to form the Great Star of Africa and the Lesser Star of Africa, which are set in the crown jewels of Britain. And Harold, interesting story about Liciti Lorona. We knew it would sell eventually. It has sold for $53 million. White diamond, $47,777 a carat. Still a very, very nice number.
You better believe it. Absolutely amazing. And just to see a diamond that size is just so thrilling, Randy. It was gorgeous. So, again, a lot of news in the diamond business. And, you know, the thing is that all of the results are positive. You're talking about, you know, a situation just like you just said. You can wear a diamond for years and years and years and have tremendous, you know, satisfaction and pleasure out of wearing it, handing it down to your children, keeping it in the family, and eventually that diamond takes on a life of its own. That's the way that you build wealth. You know, we've talked about Shirley Temple's diamond that was bought in 1940 for $7,100 and sold last year for $25 million. That doesn't happen overnight. It needs time in which to gain the rarity, and that's exactly, you know, what the diamond market is all about. Most people that look at diamonds see white diamonds. They don't even realize that diamonds come in colors. But red diamonds have been the rarest of all diamonds. Very, very seldom will you ever see a red diamond go up for auction. Very seldom. The largest red diamond ever found and cut and polished was only 5 carats. And that diamond basically has no value. I mean, it has value, but the fact is you can't put a value on it because they've never seen anything like it before. Then some of these blue diamonds came out over the last couple of years that just blew everybody away. They couldn't believe that a diamond like that really existed. Then the Graf Pink came onto the market. Then the Dresden Green came onto the market. So these amazing diamonds that come onto the marketplace just remind us that there are alternative assets. Not everything is based on investing in stocks, bonds, and real estate. There are alternative investments that you can do very well with. Now, diamonds don't trade on exchanges like gold and commodities and stocks do. So you don't have the same type of pricing and marketplace. But the fact is that white diamonds have a Rappaport price. So you know exactly what a white diamond should sell for. When it comes to colored diamonds, because they're so rare, it's very difficult to put a price on it because prices are determined by auction and private sale. It doesn't trade on an exchange. So the value of that diamond, you have to go back in history and look at auctions to determine what that diamond would be worth. But then again, you get the times that we're in. For example, last year, when we saw the Chinese stock market plummet and we saw their currency devalue, twice in a week, we found that a lot of our Asian clients were buying diamonds prior to their currency devaluing. So again, you're looking at a time, I talked about it on last week's show. You grow up in Canada, you grow up in a country, and in most cases, you're going to spend your life in that country. You may move to a different province or a different state or whatever, but you're going to stay within that country. It's where you're born, it's where your family is, it's where your history is, and all that. But at this particular point, because of the presidential situation and other political situations, you're getting a lot of people that were born in the United States and live in the U.S., giving up their passports and expatriating and going to another country. That's not an easy thing to do, because the fact is you have to move your financials around, and that's not an easy thing to do. You can't cross a border with a bunch of cash. You can't cross a border, with a whole stock portfolio in your pocket, and you can't cross a border with gold in your pocket. But you can cross a border if you own your diamond. If you have proof that you own that diamond, you can go anywhere with it. If you come back into the country again and you don't have that diamond, well, they're going to want to know what you did with it and where the money is so you can pay your taxes on it. But the fact is that diamonds are the only form of portable private wealth. And where that wasn't overly important to us before, it is certainly important now, because people are very nervous in the United States with Trump as president. These natural disasters are just destroying families and all finances and whatever wealth has been built. It's just a very, very difficult time. So I urge you to look at alternative investments. The fact is that diamonds don't lose their value if you buy the right type of diamond. And if you give it enough time, that diamond will increase in value. And any investment that you go into, the first and foremost is capital preservation. Is my investment safe? Number two is capital appreciation. How much money can I make on this investment? Diamonds give you definitely the capital preservation. The fact is that a colored diamond, an important colored diamond, is not going to drop in price unless you just paid a way, way overinflated price. But over time, the rarity of that diamond will kick in, and that diamond will go up in value. We've created two auction businesses. One is a live auction, as far as we sell that 20 or 30 items, within an hour to an hour and a half, and the other is our other auction that goes on for weeks or months at a time. Both of those are going to be very active now that I'm back in Florida. I was in Colorado for the last 4 months to avoid hurricane season, so I could live and work with my family out there. So, again, we're back in Florida at this point. We're going to get very aggressive with auctions. We're going to help some clients sell off their diamonds if they need to, but we're going to really do a phenomenal job with our auction business. That's where most of my focus is going to be for the next several years, is to build this auction business, because we need to sell our alternative assets down the road, and that's going to be the vehicle that we're going to use. So, again, Randy, the diamond business is doing very, very well. At this particular point, I think it's only going to go up based on the fact that almost all other investments are speculative and risky.
Featured Diamond of the Week from rarecoloreddiamonds.com, a .33 carat radiant cut fancy green. See it online, Featured Diamond of the Week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Now we had the Lasciti Lorona sell for $53 million. There's another spectacular diamond up for auction. A stunning, flawless gem that has been hailed the most beautiful diamond in the world will go under the hammer next month. The 163-carat rock will become the largest flawless D-colored diamond to be auctioned when sold at Christie's, Geneva, November 14. Sales of similar-sized diamonds suggest it could fetch millions of dollars. Before reaching Geneva, the staggering sparkler will be shown by the renowned auction house at events in London, Dubai, and New York in a bid to obviously drum up interest from international buyers. Last night, it was in Hong Kong. The rock was carved from a staggering 404-carat rough-cut diamond that was discovered in Angola in February last year, the largest ever found in the southern African country. The diamond will be auctioned at Christie's Geneva on November 14th. Francois Curiel, Christie's chairman of Europe and Asia, said, "The largest stone that ever came up on the market before this was 110 carats, so this is a stone that is 50% bigger than the previous one. It's an absolute rarity." And we have pictures of in our free weekly newsletter, and we encourage you to get our newsletter. Like, we understand you're very, very busy in your life. You don't have a lot of time to do any reading. We put our information together for the radio show and put it into a newsletter-type format so you can go through it, and then you can spend 5 minutes and be completely up to date. It's a smorgasbord. You can spend hours or spend minutes, and you'll be completely up to date. Take a look at the diamond section of our newsletter. Get it from Harold, 1-800-432-1022, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We have a picture of Lasiti Lorona, our featured diamond of the week, and we have a picture of this beautiful diamond that's going up for auction in Geneva. And they have it in a necklace, and it is beautiful. Now, one of the other stories that came about this week, a giant pink diamond, and this is very, very rare that a pink diamond is found anywhere in the world. That's why this is making news. A giant pink diamond discovered could be Elarosa's most expensive. Russia's Elarosa has unearthed the pink diamond. The gem giant could be the most expensive it has ever found. Elarosa, which produces more stones than anyone else, found the 27.85-carat pink gem in one of its Russian mines in the Far East. The company said the biggest pink diamond it had previously found was less than 4 carats in weight. The gem quality stone has very few flaws and could be Elarosa's most expensive polished diamond if it decides to cut the stone. But we wanted to update you on that find and how rare it is. And as we have mentioned many times before, the world's biggest mine when it comes to pink diamonds is the Argyle in Western Australia. And they are going to be shutting that down here in about 3 years' time. They may have a couple of years' worth of diamonds in their vaults after that, but then that is it. 90 to 95% of the world's pink diamonds from the Argyle mine gone. They currently have their Argyle pink tender underway right now, and we'll be finding out in the month of October who were the winning bidders. But pink diamonds, they are the rarest of the rare. And to give you an idea of what we're talking about, in the 244 years of auctions, only 18 pink diamonds of more than 10 carats, 2 grams, have come up for sale. Also, this is from David Forden, CEO of Linley's. Pink diamond prices have tripled over the past 15 years and on average would be at least 25 to 30 times the value of white diamonds. Josephine Johnson of Argyle Pink Diamonds, the manager there. Between 2002 and 2010, the index price for diamonds from the Argyle Pink Diamonds tender increased 108%, while white diamonds rose 22%. But Harold, you can see that there's an opportunity in pink diamonds. It's very rare that they're found outside of Argyle at this point, but we do know at some point in time here in the next 3 years, the rarest of the rare pink diamonds will be gone from the Argyle mine.
You better believe it. Again, you're starting to see it. In fact, for the last several years, probably the last 4 or 5 years, we're starting to see less and less diamonds obviously come out of the Argyle mine. But on top of that, for the Argyle tender, which is the biggest diamond event of the year, 40% of the diamonds coming out of the mine have an I1 clarity. That means that you can sometimes see the visible flaw with your eyes, but the fact is these diamonds still sold for record prices every single year for the last 5 years. It's a phenomenon. And the fact is that we're only going to know how the prices are going to react when the mine actually does shut down. But again, to me, it's economics 101. When demand for a product is high and supplies are low, the prices go higher. That's why we invested in pink diamonds from the Argyle mine. I think it's going to turn out to be a strong investment for us. And again, I'm very much looking forward to what the next 10 years are going to do for our clients.
Connect with Harold. Find out more about diamonds. RareColoredDiamonds.com. RareColoredDiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week is a .33 carat radiant cut, fancy green. See it live. We have video of it online at RareColoredDiamonds.com. Featured diamond of the week. And Harold, as we've said before, jewelry is an investment you can wear for 30 years and then sell. What else can you do that with? It's portable, private wealth. It's something that can be portable depending on your circumstances. You can't do that with precious metals, real estate, or collectibles, but you can do that with diamonds. It's been done many times over the years, and obviously we're saying everything should be done above board and by the law. But it's one of those things that you can't put a Rolls Royce in your pocket. It's hard to put gold and silver in your pocket, or real estate, or collectibles, a painting. But when it comes to diamonds, that is completely different. And if you do everything above board and legally, there are no issues. And if you get into a tough circumstance, maybe similar to what's happening in Venezuela, God forbid, people losing weight and starving to death there. You can see the info in our free weekly newsletter. That would be a prime example of get out of Dodge type investment, diamonds that would come in so helpful. Harold, we have about 2 minutes left here.
Well, again, at this particular point, be careful out there. I know, when money gets tight, we look for alternatives, and sometimes it forces us into a situation that we're uncomfortable with, or we take a risk that we really shouldn't be doing. At this point, it's very difficult to make money in a choppy market like this. So wait for your opportunities. Don't speculate. Be smart about your investments. And again, wait for the right timing. We're here to help. At any time, if you need advice on a market or you're thinking of doing something investment-wise and you want a second opinion, as a listener to the show, whether you do business with us or not, I'm here to help. So, again, I've been in the investment business for over 35 years. We've called some strong markets in the past. At this particular point, I'm not going to make a recommendation to you just for the sake of recommending something. I want our listeners to do well. That is paramount for us. And, again, we appreciate you listening to the show, getting our free newsletter. Watch out for our new auctions coming up again this year. And again, we're looking to do some very good business with our clients this year.
One thing that happened this week, Harold, and we'll talk about it because we have about a minute left, is palladium actually went higher in price by a few dollars, but it was higher in price than platinum. And I thought that was interesting.
You better believe it. It's more in the catalytic converter situation, but platinum's been dead for quite a long time. It hasn't moved. Palladium, we started recommending at $180, and it hit over $1,000. So that was one of the better trades that we recommended.
That definitely was. Harold recommended. I remember palladium, and actually even platinum as well, but palladium in particular at $180. And here we are around $950. So that has turned out to be a real winner. Definitely get our free weekly newsletter. Read that report from UBS saying that Toronto and Vancouver are Toronto top and Vancouver number 4 on the top 10 list of bubble-type markets for real estate in the world. Be very, very careful when it comes to real estate in those markets. And Harold Siegel, thank you for your knowledge and another great show.
It's my pleasure, Randy. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
Our featured diamond of the week from RareColoredDiamonds.com is a .33 carat radiant cut fancy green diamond. Learn more about investing in diamonds. Go to RareColoredDiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. If you'd like to speak with Harold, you can connect with him. He'll be happy to speak with you at any time. 1-800-432-1022. The website, RareColoredDiamonds.com. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We'll talk to you next week.